Okay, here we go. So we're going to pour some resin. So what we do first, I've got my mold cleaned off. I use an air compressor with a nozzle on it, and just to make sure it's all good. I'll spray it off one more time. And then you want to use something like mold release. Here's this guy. You can get it smooth on or Reynolds AM. And you want to give it a nice coat. Should wear a mask. I was wearing one, but can't really hear me when I talk in it. So then you'll start to put it together. Make sure you get all of the locks in place. That's what these are. They're kind of wedged. So you want to start at one end, kind of work your way through, watch, make sure you're getting them all in there, and you're good. So stick it with your other one, put your shells on each side, get your rubber bands in place. And I'm going to put one double band in the middle for right now, just to hold him in there. Or on this guy, he's kind of old and warped, so I put him on the sides just to hold them together a little bit. If I put it all on right now, then when I go to put the injection in, use my syringe, it will sometimes pull the extender tube off when I try and take it out of the hole. So I don't have it too tight at this point. Also, when it's too tight, you get more air bubbles stuck, unless you've got a really nice airflow channel system. So just depends on your mold. Alright, so those are put together. Now let's turn over here. Let's see if we can see a little bit better. Right over here I've got, let's just do this. Okay. Alright, is everybody dizzy? Right here I've got Smooth Cast 326, and I measured it out on a scale, and I do it in grams, and then you have to measure out your other side by volume. 326 is only by volume. Well, you can do it by weight, but it's a different ratio. And then I'm going to use So Strong tints. I'm using white for the Stormtroopers. And because this is yellow, you're going to want to use a lot of white, just basic mixing colors and whatnot. Stir it all together, make sure you get all the goop off the bottom. It's all mixed in nice. When you're using different colors, it's a lot easier because you can see if there's any white still smudged on the bottom. But since it's all white, you want to kind of tilt it so you can see if there's any pockets left there. Okay, now I'm going to mix these. 326 has a pot life of 7 to 9 minutes, and then cure time is 60 minutes. That's about how long it takes to really set up, but I leave my resin positives in the mold for a couple hours because if I pull them out even after the 60 minutes, they're still kind of soft and will warp, and I don't want that. So I'll leave them in there for several hours before I take them out. And that's okay because the longer it cures, the more sandable, the more carvable it is. Just chemical reactions and whatnot. So mix your stuff really good. Scrape the bottoms, scrape the middle. Okay. Now I'm gonna wipe off my stir stick so I can use it again. Reuse, reuse. I can take my syringe. Let's go back over here. Alright, cool. So we're good. Sure that's mixed even more. Put it in your injector. And then let's go ahead and get you a close-up over here. There, hopefully that works. Okay. I'm going to start filling from one side to the other. Just gentle squeeze. Make sure getting in there. Okay. Don't squeeze too fast, otherwise you will get air trapped in there. These are little cavities, so it's not like you have to push a whole lot of resin in there. Okay, so from the other side. That one's kind of sticking. It's always kind of a rush though. You're trying to get all your resin into the cavity before it sets up. So if you're looking for excitement in your life, here's the poor man's way to do it. Okay. Pour a little bit more in each of these little fills, or investments, that's what you can call them. Because if there is a air bubble down there, then hopefully, well, it actually comes from a lost wax method of casting bronze. You have a little investment area. That's this bigger section here. So when the bronze cools, it actually pulls some of that investment bronze back into the cavity. So now I'm squeezing them together, kind of make sure, get all the bubbles from the top. Shake it, squeeze a little bit more, and I could put some more rubber bands. Careful not to splash resin up into your eyes. It's not fun. Cool, so that one's good. And before I forget, I also have a head mold. This is a articulated head Stormtrooper, so this is actually the inside socket for the head that fits onto the torso piece. So I'm going to pour some of those. Cool. And yep. Stick those together. Get my pieces. The reason why I use shells or pieces of plexiglass instead of just putting a rubber band right onto the rubber is sometimes you can get warping because you're squeezing the rubber too much in one spot. But if you use a shell, then usually it's a uniform pressure all the way across. So that guy's good. Put some more rubber in here. I mean resin. We're good. Fit it all in. I love new molds. New molds are the best. That's what this one is. They just smooth working. Almost there. Now sometimes you might have extra resin. I don't know if I will in this case, but if you do have another mold on hand that you don't really care what the color is, and just pour the rest of it in there, like this guy. Cool. Okay, put these together, and then we're going to throw these into the pressure chamber. If you need to, you can redistribute some of this by sucking some of this stuff out, putting in the other cavity, the investments. Now, try and clean these out, wipe off the tip, so that you can clean these out a little bit better when the resin cures, and you can reuse your tubes. I leave a little air pocket at the top there. Okay, grab your stuff, and we're gonna head over to the pressure chamber. Just stick it over here. Make sure your seal is in place. Tighten down the bolts. It's like changing your car tire. Make sure you don't tighten them all the way on one side. You want to move around. Decide on your bolts. Don't get any warping on your lid. And then you got in there. And I'm going to fill it up to about 50 psi. Find out whatever works for you and go from there, right?